Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jay Cohn.
And I'm Jeanelle Slade. A ruling from the Montana Supreme Court stops a controversial proposed ballot measure in its tracks.
Montana Supreme Court justices today ordering 5 revisions to the Montana Locker Room Privacy Act. This proposed initiative seeks to require people to use the restroom that matches his or her birth sex.
Q2's Asia Gore on this story tonight and joins us with more on today's ruling and what this means moving forward. Asia.
Jay and Jeanelle, the challenge was filed by the American Civil Liberties Union of Montana, which says the initiative targets transgender people. The Montana Locker Room Privacy Act, slated for the 2018 ballot, is sponsored by the Montana Family Foundation. The act would require government buildings or public schools to create so-called protected bathrooms designated for a single sex. The ACLU says the initiative discriminates against transgender people. The High Court ordered Tuesday 5 revisions, with the key change being a clear definition of the term sex. The ruling says the initiative currently fails to identify whether sex means a person's anatomical sex or the sex the person identifies as. Now, the initiative must also address the number of so-called protected facilities, the future costs, and further explain the component that allows people to file lawsuits if the measure is not followed. These revisions must all fit within the 135-word constraint for ballot measures. Now, despite the ruling, the Montana Family Foundation called the ruling a big win and issued this statement on its website, quote, "High school girls should not have to shower in front of a boy, even if he thinks he's a girl. It's just common sense." I reached out to the Attorney General's office to see what this ruling means for signatures already collected, but have not heard back. Jane, Jeanelle?
All right, thanks, Asia.
Well, several tough decisions ahead as state agencies have been asked to make across-the-board budget cuts.
In Billings, one agency that helps some of the most vulnerable among us is now at risk, not just for cuts, but possibly elimination.
Q2's Samantha Harrelson tonight shows us how this decision could affect hundreds of children with disabilities.
Ellie was diagnosed with a microdeletion on her 17th chromosome. It is a rare genetic syndrome called Coulin-de Vries syndrome, where essentially it affects her speech ability and her language skills, along with developmental delays.
Who made this?
Papa made it.
Baba made it?
Both Jim and I are teachers, and yet here we had a child of our own with special needs, and we didn't know or didn't have the resources ourselves to help her along.
When Ellie was 10 months old, the Sturgars were paired with a family support specialist through Early Childhood Intervention, or ECI. The support specialist was able to help the family by giving them the strategies and tools they needed to help their daughter grow.
It was a huge weight lifted off of our shoulders of being able to support Ellie and help Ellie with the needs that I myself didn't know how to help her with.
By giving their parents the skills that they need to help their children, we're giving the children the best opportunity to meet their potential.
David Munson is the director of ECI. He says by providing this service to parents when children are still young, it saves the state money down the road.
67% of the infants and toddlers that we work with, they have delays and disabilities. 67% do not go into special education preschool.
That was the case for 3-year-old Jace. ECI came in when Jace was just 2 and still wasn't able to say more than a few words.
We accomplished catching him up within 7 months. So it was like really a proud moment, not for just being proud of him, but being proud of myself to be able to bring my son to that next level and teach him how to talk and communicate with people.
Jace is now in preschool, which, according to Munson, is saving the state money. Special education costs the state thousands of dollars more per student each year than the cost to educate children who don't need those services. But now, elimination of the program is on the table.
When these cuts were announced, it was just mind-numbing to consider how could this even be? How could this even come up in the state of Montana?
ECI is one of the programs eliminated under the proposed budget cuts submitted by the Department of Public Health and Human Services. The proposal was sent at the request of the governor, who's asked all state agencies to cut costs by 10% due to the state budget shortfall. If eliminated, Montana would be the only state in the nation without an early intervention program.
Is that what we stand for here in Montana? It just doesn't compute. All states have early intervention because everybody knows, even the most conservative legislators in the country, even during the economic downturn of 08 and 09, nobody eliminated early intervention because they know you pay a nickel now or you pay many dollars later.
We know that you can't do it by yourself, and you need these types of programs that are going to help parents that aren't educators like we are, and I mean we're even at a loss. So I can't imagine other families that need this service. And when I first heard about it, as well as there was a big pit in my stomach, feeling for those families.
We have to be a voice for a child who cannot speak right now, and a child who can't speak up for himself. We have to be that voice, and we can't take away services from him and his peers.
All right, thanks so much, Samantha Harrelson.
And Sammy tells us that this difficult situation is made even tougher because this is a federal maintenance program, which means if the state were to just decide to cut out all the funding that it contributes to the program, well, then the program's at risk for losing all of its $2 million in federal funds.
Now, today, Governor Bullock released a statement to MTN on this matter, saying in part, "I have deep concerns about cuts that will ultimately increase the cost of education and reduce services Montanans depend on." He continues on to say he hopes lawmakers on both sides can come together to find more, quote, responsible solutions.
Other news tonight, a man is in custody for an alleged assault on a lame deer man that left the victim hospitalized. The FBI telling us today a 30-year-old man found unresponsive and home in Lame Deer on Sunday morning. The victim was transported to a Billings hospital. Name and age of the suspect has not been released, but the FBI says a male suspect was taken into custody by the BIA Northern Cheyenne Police, but at this time no further details have been made public.
Turning to weather at McIntosh in for Bob. It's chilly out there, but the higher elevations are about to get snow.
Yeah, that's right. It's not as shocking as it was maybe a week ago, but we still got a lot more on the way as we take a look at winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories into effect. Yellowstone National Park, maybe 3 to 12 inches of snow, but the Beartooth Sea of Sorcas could be looking at 20 inches of new snow in a few locations. Could be looking at some even around Cook City and Red Lodge by the time we start getting into the early weekend. And at the same time, we could look at a fairly good amount of rain moving into the lower elevations, especially from Forsyth back in towards the Billings area into the mountain foothills, a ½ inch to 1.5 inches of new rain, and the coldest temperatures overall we've seen since the end of April. More on that coming up with the forecast just a few minutes from now.
All right, thanks, Ed. A Red Lodge police officer is fighting to keep her partner. After the city dissolved its canine unit, Drago is up for sale to the highest bidder. Officer Mallory Cates and Drago have worked together for 2 years. But after the mayor decided the program didn't provide the return of investment necessary to continue, Cates looked to keep Drago as a pet. After raising enough money to purchase him, the city requested Cates sign an agreement. That agreement would reduce her pay by $3 an hour, and she would have to give up all personal claims against the city, past or future. Cates' lawyers filed an injunction against the city over this agreement dispute. Now today, a judge approved a temporary restraining order against the city. While litigation is pending that order also, it requires the city to return Drago by 5 p.m. or be in contempt of court.
We hope to have an update for you. Let's see if the city complied tonight. Well, up next on your 5:30 news, they're changing the Montana landscape. Wildfires becoming the new reality of the West. Tonight we get one author's perspective.
And later in sports, Pro Rodeo's regular season ends a week from Saturday. Scott shows us which local contestants are about to reach the sports' Super Bowl.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green.